Welcome to episode 3 of Lost and Loud, the podcast, where I am just lost in life and I am talking about it. So, I actually just posted episode 1 the other day, and I am so shocked by the response by people. The algorithm of YouTube picked it up a little bit because most of the views from the podcast were from people that were completely new watchers of me. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. I know I'm saying this late because by the time this one's up, episode 2 was already out and this is episode 3. But I just want to say thank you to everybody so much for the love so far in the podcast. This is honestly the highlight of my week and I look forward to it every time. I have some things I want to talk about today as always. And in the future, we're going to be doing episodes where we talk about life advice, dating advice. So make sure you go email me at lostandloudpod@gmail.com and send me a story you have if you have any questions, and you can be featured in the podcast anonymously, of course. But last night was literally the Grammys and it was insane. Miley won her first Grammy. I was so happy for her. The way she was singing Flowers and she just screamed like a little girl, I just won my first Grammy. I feel like that would have been all our reactions if we won a Grammy. It's crazy too because this year I think is the first year since the big event in the world, if you know what I mean, that the Grammys almost felt back to normal. Because every other year during the break the entire world had, I don't want to say the word because YouTube will flag it, of course. But ever since that, the Grammys, a lot of it was virtual and it just didn't feel the same. A lot of guests didn't go. But this year, the Grammys were packed. Beyonce, Jay-Z, Taylor Swift, all these people were there, big names that have not gone in the past couple years. And I was so shook by it. It was so good. The performances were amazing, but definitely I think the highlight of the night for sure was Miley winning her Grammy. It is just so refreshing to see someone, new artists, not even new artists, Miley's been in the industry for 18 years, but to see people that have never won before win something. And that's why it's so refreshing, last year or 2 years ago was it, when Olivia Rodrigo won, because it's someone new is finally winning. The best analogy I have for it is when I watch tennis, okay? It's always Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, and now seeing new and upcoming names win tournaments, play games, and they're starting to be the new number one. It's refreshing to see. Guys, bear with me. I'm figuring out the whole podcast thing. I think every time I film, it's different lighting, even though it's literally the same setup I have. For some reason, it just doesn't work well. But I'm gonna figure it out because I want to talk about these things with you guys. But it's almost like I'm filming these a little too in advance because you're not gonna see this episode for 2 weeks. So we'll see. I'll see how it goes. Maybe 1 week it'll be a double pod so we can kind of catch up. But we're going to jump off right into it. The main topic I want to talk about today is why are all the big YouTubers leaving YouTube? I have a list here as always on my phone of some little notes because as we know, my podcasts are kind of like mini essays, I guess you could say. And it's been a huge thing that's been happening for a while. And it's actually not new. I know we've seen a lot of big creators leave the platform in the past couple weeks, I think. But I believe it started even a couple months ago, and that honestly began with creators like PewDiePie, where he just kind of took a farewell, and now he's peacefully living his life and kind of just popping in and out whenever he chooses. Now there's the one that kind of shook everybody's world, and that was MatPat. So just a couple examples: PewDiePie, MatPat, Tom Scott, Georgia Productions. I had to throw her in there because I do love her, and I just watched her video literally the other day of her saying she's leaving YouTube. And I was just like, whew. And I think it's this realization that all our childhoods are kind of coming to an end and that chapter of the book is closing. And I think as a viewer, that's really hard to watch because you kind of just look at these videos of the people that entertained you and felt like they were a part of your almost friend group for so long. And then for them to just not be there one day. Imagine having a routine for 10 years and every day you look forward to a new Game Theorist video or a new PewDiePie video, because a lot of these big creators that have left the platform were creators that uploaded every day, or if not nearly every day. And so you come home from school or work or anything even, and you sit down and watch a Game Thirst video or a PewDiePie video. And now all of a sudden, that's just not going to be there anymore. So it kind of feels like a friendship breakup, I think, for a lot of us here. Because it's not like these big YouTubers or big creators were little. They were huge and they reached millions of people a day. So it's definitely a big deal. So now what progresses naturally is the question why, and why now? And that's kind of what I want to get into today and talk about my theories, and coming from the perspective of a small creator and someone that never really got to that point of having 18 million subscribers or a million subscribers, but somebody that has like 200,000, that has been in the industry for 5-6 years of content creation, and 4 of those years being actually content creation that got a good amount of views. So I think I am approaching this with a pretty unique perspective, where I'm not coming from the perspective of a huge creator, but somebody that kind of got a little taste as what it's like to be in this creating industry, at least on YouTube, because I'm not really into the whole short, I'm not really into the whole short form content niche. I don't really post on TikTok. I don't really do the Instagram reel stuff. I'm only doing like shorts, Instagram reels for the podcast, but this is kind of my thing. Even my videos on my main channel have always been long. It's just something I enjoy personally. So to begin, one thing that's really important to note with YouTube is you don't just start YouTube having it be a job. It doesn't just start off as this thing that makes you money and you have a bunch of people talking to you every day. It usually starts off with somebody that is just feeling a little creative that day. They want to crack a joke. They want to draw something. They want to play a game. They want to make a fun, memorable experience and then record it on camera. Like, you even see just people vlog with their friends when they're younger. There's so many different things. And most of the time, it was just always people being creative, filming it, and YouTube just so happened to be the platform that was there, the main platform at the time to do that. Because I'm pretty sure YouTube started off as just a platform to upload home videos. So think of the entire population of the world. Take that 100%, and now, out of that 100%, what percentage of people upload on YouTube? That's a very small percent. Not a lot of people do. And so now from that small percent already, start to think of what people actually start to get views, what people actually start to build a community, gain subscribers. And a lot of the time, that can happen for a lot of people. Of that small percentage already, how many people can turn that into a full-time job where they make hundreds of thousands to even millions a year? They're able to help their family out. They're able to have good money for the rest of their life. They're set for life as long as they make the correct investments, as long as they put some money away for retirement and the proper high interest savings accounts, as long as they like get a house that's a reasonable price. If you go buy a $20 million mansion, you're not going to be able to keep that up your whole life, because a lot of small creators either make just below minimum wage would be if you worked full time, to what minimum wage would be if you worked full time, or slightly more. You're more of a mid creator if you start to make like close to what someone would make on like a regular salary job or something. And then you're a big creator if you start to make like over 6 figures, in my opinion, personally. But then you're like that top 1% if you make like hundreds of thousands, millions. And that percentage is so small. No matter where you are in the spectrum of being a creator that isn't even monetized to being one that brings in millions, 99% of people that went on YouTube joined because they were doing something creative that they just wanted to document. Whether it was they loved the idea of editing, or they loved making thumbnails, or they loved filming with their friends, it all stems from creativity. So it's important to talk about that top 1% in the YouTube community, because when you get to that top 1%, a lot of it stops being about creativity. YouTube is a dream job for a lot of people. And we all heard about that story where the most yearned for job for children nowadays, when they get asked, is saying YouTuber. And that's mind-blowing, because when I was a kid, if you even said that word, nobody would know what it meant. Not a soul, okay? I feel like even if I told people today, So the fact that like that's a thing now is crazy. Also, this podcast is brought to you by my Patreon. If you guys want to show some support to this podcast, help it run, help me get some new equipment, make sure you become a member of my Patreon by clicking the link down below. You can get the podcast episodes a week early because we have early access on there, so make sure you go join. So a lot of people are wondering, like, these people have it all. They're living the dream job. Why are they leaving YouTube? So let's talk about it. So what I believe is a lot of this stems from creativity or the lack of being able to be creative. Because when you are a professional YouTuber, where you get to the point where you actually make sustainable, livable income, it's like you work full time, but in 6 different niches now. Because not only do you have to be a creative and actually think of creative ideas that you think people are going to want to watch, that you think are going to be entertaining, you have to be an editor, okay? A video editor. You have to be a graphic designer with thumbnails. You have to be your own manager. You have to be a negotiator for brand deals. You have to deal with contracts. You have to be your own accountant. You have to worry about taxes and documenting all your income and expenses and everywhere. You don't just get a letter mailed to you. You have to deal with paying them as well at the end of the year. Like, you don't get a check in the mail, you pay them. So it becomes way less about the creative aspect of creating. Because as we know, YouTube is not just you film a 5-second clip of you getting ready and it gets 10 million views. It actually takes production. Even if you're just using an iPhone, even if you're just using your webcam on your computer, you have to record the footage and then edit it. Like, you're not going to upload the complete raw file. It's like there's no time to be creative because you're spending so much time looking at the analytics to see what works, what doesn't. You're spending all this time editing and trying to negotiate with people. Oh my gosh, I got demonetized. What am I supposed to do? I have to contact YouTube. That now all the hours in your day are now not just allowing yourself to be creative and come with videos and film them. You're dealing with the problems, you're dealing with the money, you're dealing with everything. So what is the solution? Hire people. But now you have to deal with being able to make enough money to be able to afford to hire people, because now you have people's livelihood in your hands. Oh my gosh, if I don't make videos that are going to get the most views, which are going to get me the most money, my manager can't feed his family. I don't have a team. When I make videos, it's just me, and it's been that way for 5 years because I never got to that point. But the stress level that it starts to turn into, I can imagine, is insane, because just for me alone, it's stressful. But I cannot imagine having somebody else's livelihood in my hands. And that's where it comes, the pressure. Find what sticks, and at the end of the day, a lot of it comes down to chasing money rather than chasing creativity. And it's like that for everybody at every job, you know? Everybody works because they need money. Let's be real. Yeah, you can like your job, but ultimately, would you do it if you didn't make any money? A lot of the time, the answer is no. Maybe you have some people that are like, yeah, like I truly love what I do. But it's like, okay, but even if that was true, you'd work for free, you'd still have to get another job for money. So we're all just in this rat race for money, especially in today's economy. But when you become a doctor, you know what you're signing up for. You become a doctor and that's it. You are a doctor. Your job doesn't really change. But when you're a YouTuber, you didn't really sign up for it to be a job. You started off just having a platform to express yourself and your creativity. And then it kind of just turns into a job accidentally because one day you got lucky and the algorithm picked up one of your videos. So now what do you do when the algorithm picks up one of your videos? You start doing more of those, and then you start to see your numbers rise. Your subscribers go up, your views go up, your likes go up, and guess what? Your money goes up. And it is such an addictive feeling when you have a viral video and you see that line go like that. Sometimes it gets to a point where you can only do that for so long because there's okay, I'm doing what works and I'm doing what the algorithm likes. I'm posting every day. I'm doing what the people want to see, but sometimes I want to do other things. Sometimes I want to make a vlog. Sometimes I want to try a different business, but people are demanding this from me. And I think that it's ultimately comes down to burnout, where it's just like, I don't want to do this one thing. Because if you notice, a lot of the YouTubers that are leaving, they're not like retiring like you would think a 65-year-old person is, where they're like literally just going to go live the rest of their life in Florida. They're just leaving the content that kind of got them famous. Like Matt Pat. He's leaving game theory, but he's doing a whole bunch of other projects. Same with Tom Scott. Georgia Productions, she's just leaving YouTube videos, but she's full-time on Instagram and TikTok. So they're not actually retiring from life, but they're retiring from YouTube. And I think it gets to a point where some creators, you've made so much money that it's kind of like, why am I uploading these videos anymore? Like, I'm pretty sure that Matt Pat is set for life based on the views he's gotten over these years. If he seems like a smart guy, I'm pretty sure he's good. So then you ask yourself, why am I making these such demanding videos that maybe don't make me feel that fulfilled anymore just because everybody wants to see them? Because a lot of the times you're kind of just doing what's stuck. And it's like, you don't even choose the niche. The niche kind of chooses you. Or the genre within the niche chooses you. Because you just got to see what the algorithm picks up, baby. I can totally see how if you're bringing in millions, you've already made your millions. Why are you going to keep doing the stuff that you're not enjoying anymore? You're going to stop it, but then branch off and try other things. So in that sense, it totally makes sense. Because PewDiePie, like, he's good. Why is he going to keep making like meme videos if he's not enjoying it? He has a family, he can do other things as well. And so I think a lot of people are reverting to what they first went to YouTube for, the creativity, the things they actually enjoy. They want to stop making the high quality, huge production, big videos that they're known for that maybe they don't enjoy anymore. And they just want to go back to doing stuff they're passionate about, especially because now they're at least in a financial situation where they can. So definitely it's the whole like feeling like you have to chase money, feeling like you have to do what the audience wants, feeling like no one's going to watch you if you don't do that type of content. The algorithm's not going to like you. YouTube is a place where you can't just post once a month. You have to post consistency or you will be forgotten about. And I am someone that has personally experienced that. Back in 2023, I had to take like 5 months off YouTube posting. And that took a huge hit on my channel that I still have not recovered from. And the thing is it wasn't my fault. I had health stuff going on and I physically could not work. So it's like the algorithm on YouTube is not friendly at all. And it's getting worse. The YouTube algorithm is changing. YouTube is changing in general. It used to be a place where they prioritized long form content and they kind of stopped. All of a sudden, once YouTube Shorts came out, that is all they push. All they push. And YouTube Shorts doesn't even have like a proper creator program for like money. So like, for example, you'll get a video go viral on Shorts. Let's say you get 1 million views on Shorts, you'll get like $500. If you get 1 million views on like an 8-minute YouTube video, you'll get like $20,000. Like there's a huge disproportional thing with shorts and long form content. So it like blows my mind that they stopped pushing long form content. When you literally open the YouTube app when you are a first time watcher, shorts is what opens first. And so a lot of these big YouTubers are people that don't necessarily want to make shorts. They want to keep making their long videos. But you're going to put all this work, high production costs, all this energy, you're not even enjoying it that much because you're not really being able to show the creative side of you, only for the algorithm not to push you and you to get half the views you normally would because YouTube just wants to push TikToks, because YouTube just wants to push shorts. It's almost like a slap to the face because these creators have brought YouTube so much money. And for YouTube just to like switch entirely, and I get it, you have to adapt, but it's like, damn, like they could at least make an incentive for people to switch to shorts. But the payment program is so bad and they haven't figured out a way to make it better. Like, you don't get paid for an ad seen on your video. When there's an ad before your video, it goes into a pool with every creator on shorts and then it gets like divided or something. That's crazy. Can you imagine you got 50 million views on a video and you have to share it with other people? What did the other people do for me? I did it for myself. So there's not even an incentive to switch to shorts because you're not gaining anything out of it. And these people have like managers, they have assistants, they have editors, they have thumbnail makers, they have people that rely on them financially. So they cannot like waste their time making long form content if that's not what YouTube is going to push. It's the fact that YouTube is even more saturated now with creators. Just think, before, nobody knew what a YouTuber was. So when you were a YouTuber, a lot of people knew who you were. Now, so many people are YouTubers and are joining and are small creators that like there's such an influx of people to watch that it's almost like there's no one to watch. There could be a huge YouTuber in like America that you literally have no idea exists because there's just so many people. And so I think with just so many people being on the platform and joining every day and posting, the views I think kind of just get spread out a bit more. Whereas before, when there were like 5 main creators on the platform, they got the most views on the entire platform. And don't get me wrong, I do really enjoy Mr. Beast's videos, but I think there's almost a Mr. Beast effect happening on YouTube, where people see the success with Jimmy's videos and they're all just trying to copy him. The fast-paced, spend a lot of money, high production, and like it's like everybody's just trying to be the same. And that, again, a lot of it just comes down to creativity. A lot of the creativity is leaving. Now I think it's the most obvious reason as well, but there's just more competition now. YouTube used to be like the main platform, but now there's TikTok. Now there's Instagram Reels. And so people's just attention is just being spread out more. You know, it might not actually be any of these YouTubers' faults. Things are changing. And if you do not adapt and you don't change with the ways, things aren't going to be the same. That's the thing. I can relate totally. Like, when I post on YouTube, on my channel, I post gaming content. And I always told myself, I'm going to keep doing it as long as I enjoy it. I'm starting this podcast, and it's something I've been really enjoying. But I'm still enjoying posting my old videos. But if it ever gets to the point where I don't enjoy them anymore, I will stop one day. And I always talk about that publicly because for me, it is about just having it be my hobby. And if I make money from it, if I build community from it, sure. But I will not let myself get to the point where I'm just pumping content like an AI robot. That's not the goal I have for myself. I want to enjoy the videos I make, or for me, it's not worth the time. I do think, though, there is a problem with people's attention spans nowadays. I do really think it's concerning. I don't see people having conversations anymore. Like, people will literally not be able to watch a 1-minute short or a 1-minute TikTok because they're like, oh, so boring. People want everything to be so fast and so like dopamine, that if I am not having like a fast zoom in or a quick cut or subtitles in every second, it's boring. Like, it's like, what? Like, people need to start like reading books again and sitting down and having conversations face to face. It's very concerning knowing that a lot of people's screen time nowadays are like 10 hours and shit. Like mine, I try to keep it down to 2, but that's because some of the times I do work on my phone. Like, I try to only keep scrolling for at the end of the day when I am done everything I have to do, or when I'm in the bathroom. Because it's so distracting. It is so distracting. But that's why I like long form content like this, because it's just, people can still be productive because you don't necessarily have to watch. This is a video podcast because personally, I'm not familiar with how to upload it onto Spotify and all that stuff. And that's not really my goal. Maybe if it actually becomes like a big thing, I'd do that. But for now, it's like just a video podcast, but it doesn't mean you actually like to watch. You can just have it playing in the background while you do your chores, while you clean, while you drive. So you can still be productive with long form content, with books on like Audible and stuff, where things are like audiobooks, but there's nothing better too than just sitting in an area, opening up a book with a cup of tea, devices off, put away, phone on do not disturb, ringer off, and relaxing and getting in tune with your body and your mind and your thoughts and being okay with sitting down and being alone. Because I think there's a huge loneliness crisis that is going on in our society. And I think I definitely want to talk about that in maybe next episode or another episode. But It's a big thing. I think there's just a lot going on with the world right now. So those are like my little theories with what I think is going on with all the major YouTubers leaving. And ultimately, I always leave the final reason that I truly think why it's happening to the end, because I just think people change. And it's okay to change. It's okay to not want to do the same thing you wanted to do at 20 when you're 30. Like, a lot of the time, these YouTubers that are leaving are ones that have done this for 10, 12 years. And maybe when you were 19, making gaming videos was fun. But now at 31, you want to move on. And I think that's okay. And we should totally be supportive of people trying new endeavors in their life and trying to make changes that they're excited about, because it's always just so beautiful to see someone be excited about something. It's very comforting staying where you are and staying with what works. But to want to try something new takes a lot of courage. So everybody, just show some love to everybody, even just not even YouTube, like just people in your life. Just show everybody some support, man, because life's tough. Life is hard. And we're all just trying to figure it out. And that's what this podcast is about. We're all a little lost, but let's be loud. Let's talk about it. And let's try and figure it out together. So yeah, I'd love to hear your guys' opinion down below. Like I said, I'm filming this right now when only episode 1 is out of my podcast. So I know on episode 1, I loved reading your guys' comments and the feedback and all your theories about everything that was going on with influencer culture and bringing up people and tearing them down and stuff. Let me know any other topics you want to talk about. I know I do really want to talk about the whole loneliness epidemic. I think there is. But yeah, thanks for listening to episode 3 of Lost and Loud. I will see you guys next week.